Real quick, I did watch part of Impact this past week for two reasons. One, I wanted to see the Mexican Death Match with Pentagon and Sami Callihan, which I thought was good. It wasn't as good as the last match they had. And number two, and this is the main reason, I had heard that they killed a kid, in storyline, of course, on the show this week, and people were very torn about this. So I watched it, wanted to see what all the fuss was about. I was not offended that they killed a kid, no more so than when Todd shot that kid on Breaking Bad, and what an asshole Todd was, if I may say so. I couldn't stand that guy. Lucha Underground. They kill people all the time. Every week, in fact. So I watched this, and LAX, they had won their street fight the week before against the OGs, and they were at a party here on this show. It was a vignette. But they're at a party, and they're talking about how this feud is finally over, and, we won, and they go to leave the party. I guess they're going to go to Conan's car, and they have a kid with them. They have a little kid named Richie. He even had a replica belt over his shoulder. So they cut to show one of the OGs in their car, and the car starts racing down the street. As soon as they see LAX coming out of this party, the car comes racing down the street to try to run them all over, right? They tried to Rikishi them. But they all got out of the way, everybody except for little Richie. They saw him down on the ground. They raced over to help him. And then for a brief period here, we saw things from the kid's perspective. We could hear his little heart beating. We saw his eyes were slowly closing. Now look, maybe this week we find out the kid's in a coma or something. They didn't outright say that he was killed. But it sure left you with the impression that that's what happened, right? Now none of that bothered me, because I just looked at it as some, kind of goofy television shit. That didn't bother me. What bothered me was they cut back to Josh Matthews and Don Callis at the announce desk. And they start playing this cheesy, dark, sort of brooding music in the background. And Josh, basically, in so many words, goes, well, the show must go on. They talk about it like it's just another wrestling segment. I mean, they were very downtrodden, and they did the whole, low voices, like some tragic event just occurred. They did try to, it wasn't like he was smiling and laughing and all that kind of stuff, but that was basically what he said. Like, the show must go on. Just another segment. And Don Callis is like, well, something's got to be done about this rivalry. And Josh Matthews then just starts casually running down next week's card. Couldn't you at least cut to a fucking commercial or something? Like, is Richie's life not even worth an ad break? The kid gets run down in cold blood, and seconds later, Josh Matthews is talking about Su Yung defending her Knockouts title. Like, how anybody could take that segment seriously after that, I have no idea. That was my only real beef with it, really. I mean, the whole thing was goofy, I guess, but you can't even just do, an ad break after something like that. You gotta go right into the next segment. Hey, let's run down the card for next week. So I'm dedicating this week's podcast to the memory of Richie. And now I'm moving on to Lucha Underground. And the murderous rampage continues with yet another fatality. The body count is racking up on this show. A lot of blood and gore this week, more than usual.